Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. This is my weekly video blog called Bullheaded, a review of the Houston Texans news, as well as a preview of the upcoming game matchups. So apparently this week, the Texans are supposed to be hosting the Los Angeles Rams. Um, excuse me, but you really couldn't tell considering all the other stuff that they had going on off the field. So we'll get into all the really important news items, probably the most important ones we've had in a while. We'll get into all that. First, I want to touch on this game just real quick. The game recap real quick. So yeah, there's not a lot to really say. Texans got beat by the Cardinals, and going into it, it was supposed to be the game where J.J. Watt and DeAndre Hopkins played their former team for like the very first time. To be honest, it was just a little underwhelming. Like, one, we lost, so two, it just wasn't. It was just a lopsided loss. And the only real storylines that came out of that was J.J. Watt injuring his shoulder, I believe. But essentially like just ending his season right then and there. But still like playing, but not then and there at the game because he actually played through the specific injury. But finding out about it. After the game or whatever, and catching a diagnosis. So speedy recovery to him. Hope he gets well after that. Speedy recovery to this Texans roster. So I hope we get well after everything we've been through during the season and during this week apparently. So start off with the first news item. Mark Ingram got traded. He got traded back to the Saints. The pick, it ended up at first they didn't announce it, but then I found out about it. I guess today they announced it was a 2024 seventh round pick. So it looks like they was really just trying to get him out of here. But you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. They probably just needed to clear some room for maybe a younger running back or whatever. Right now on the depth chart, it looks like it's Philip Lindsay and his backup is Scotty Phillips, and then there's David Johnson and Rex Burkhead and everything. So we'll see how that actually goes, and we'll talk about that in a few for the game preview. Um, some semi good news. Tyrod Taylor returned to practice after being on IR for the last couple games. So we'll see how that goes. He's still not ready to go yet. They're gonna put Davis Mills in this Sunday, so we'll really see how that goes. So yeah, probably maybe the hope is that he probably sits out this weekend's game, and then maybe we'll see him return next weekend or so, or maybe just after the bye week because I think the bye week's coming up pretty soon. So while we're on the subject of quarterbacks, I don't know if you've heard, but Deshaun Watson is supposed to be getting traded Tuesday. So yeah, big news. As if it seems like every week these rumors try to pop up, but this time with the trade deadline being so close together, so close, I think everybody's getting a little bit antsy as far as yeah, everybody's getting a little bit antsy as far as the trade deadline. A lot of names being thrown around. Ironically, the Rams are talking about trading Deshaun Jackson. You know, at the trying to trade him at the deadline, but you know, at the deadline, there's also after the deadline, there's also buyout season. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, back to Texans news or whatever. Last week I touched on a little bit of the trade rumors coming around. Watson was supposed to be gone like last week. And so either last week or this week, one of the dates have passed in which he was supposed to have already been traded. So as you can see, people are kind of still waiting around, and right. But fortunately, we do have some. There were some newer developments that came about. So one of the newer developments involved Miami. They seem to be the front runners at this point to land Deshaun Watson, and so I believe it was the owner. He came out and said that there is a deal in place, but we want to see, we kind of want to see how this, legal situation plays out. And so, really, when people bring up these rumors, it always the legal situation with Deshaun Watson always seems to kind of like just deflate everything, because it's like it's like everybody at this point, even the Texans fans, like the ones that didn't want him to leave, even they're like, all right, we got to move this guy, man. But the legal situation. We want to. It seems like everybody is like 100% in on making this trade happen, but every time you mention the legal situation, it's a big you know what I'm saying? It's just like that. Because like there is, a lot of stuff that's, going on with that. There's civil suits, there's criminal charges being attached to it. And so really how all of that plays out is going to determine what the NFL commissioner, Roger Goodell, what punishment he deems is worthy for Deshaun Watson. But the crazy part about that is earlier this week, when asked about it, he didn't really have no clarity on it. The league, they were just like, um, they didn't have, apparently they didn't have enough information to just kind of determine whether or not, what kind of determine before, Watson is traded or whatever, on what punishment he actually can receive or what he deserves. Should it be on paid leave? Should he be on, once, should he be known ahead of time that he's going to be, that whatever team lands him, he's going to be suspended for like, this many games or whatever. Um, I remember watching, I think it was Sunday Night Football, either this past week or a week or so ago, and Mike Florio, he was talking about, he brought up the whole paid leave thing, and he was saying like, one of the reasons they haven't really kind of brought up paid leave is because they've been paying him, but he hasn't been active, and I guess that makes sense. Uh, what I'm saying? They've been announcing that he's been inactive for the first couple of games, and then they just kind of, just just kind of stop making that announcement or whatever. So, um, yeah, I definitely, it's definitely that's whole off the field situation with Watson. It seems like it's holding everything up, and rightfully so. Now, back to the football side of things. So, we'll get back to Miami in a little bit. Um, the other teams that have kind of been around there, it seems like there's some fading away, but then, there's others that might be joining in. So, with the Panthers, seems like they finally have said, like, we're going to stick with Sam Darnold or just our quarterback room in general, because Darnold's he's been benched. He was benched, I think, this last game, and so that's been bringing up a lot of that's been raising the eyebrows of Panthers fans, like, oh, is this our guy or whatever. Um, so it seems like they've officially just kind of like stepped out of it, like just altogether, and which is fine because I don't think they had the assets to really just, or I don't think they wanted to put the assets that the Texans are asking for. The Eagles, I haven't heard too much about the Eagles. To be honest with you, I haven't heard that they're out of it or that they're still kind of in it. It's just been kind of quiet over there. They had the I guess a couple of weeks ago or last week, um, their owner was like, he was reportedly given a green, quote unquote, green light to make a deal, with the Texans to get Deshaun Watson in. So um, I made it known, like I would rather have if they had the assets, I would rather have the Eagles in terms of getting Jalen Hurts and seeing what he can do down here. Um, Definitely if that can happen, I would prefer that over Tua. And so with Tua, speaking of Tua, going back to Miami actually, um, I don't know. I don't know if they'll send him over here. Um, I'm hoping not, but and what I'm hoping is that Texans make the trade with Miami. They send Watson over there. They keep Tua on the bench till the off season or whatever, and then they figure out what what they're going to do with him. I just don't like that he's getting hurt, every other week. I feel like if we're going to trade, if we're going to trade somebody like Watson over there, then we should get, I mean, we're obviously getting back like 3 first round picks, so um, that's not a thing to like to spend one on a quarterback. But if we're going to get a quarterback, at least let it be somebody that's like healthy or viable or something like that. So that's how I feel about the trade. But apparently, it's done. The deal is done. They're just waiting on the whole off the field situation. So it is what it is. But also, one more thing about the trade rumors this week. They're saying that there's other teams that are possibly in the mix now, and so I remember when Watson first announced this trade, like way um, back in February or right before spring or whatever. Um, he everybody went crazy with their Photoshop. Everybody had him in their favorite teams' jerseys. You could think of 49ers, Packers, Vikings, Patriots, all types of stuff. And so, at then, it looked, kind of feasible. But, fast forward to today, with everything that's, going on off the field and all this other stuff, um, it still might be feasible. I think that the teams the teams that haven't been announced, um, they probably have like some quarterback situations on their own that they're really trying to wait out until the end of the season. So some of the guys might be, you know, on the last year of their contract, or this might be next season might be the last year, or they're just kind of shaky about like you know the teams are probably just shaky about who their quarterback is right now, but they don't want to make a drastic change like at the trade deadline and just shake everything up. So um, and I think that's really what it could be. And they might be expecting to just kind of make some more moves to get some more draft picks, get some more capital towards the end of the year, so they can, answer the Texans' price tag. So that's where I see the other teams possibly in the mix. I don't think they'll be revealed unless they just actually pull the trigger at the deadline, and then it'll be like, oh snap, that's who was, the other squad or whatever. So um, that's how I feel about that. So right now, Miami, the way I feel about this trade, just overall, is pretty much this. Miami, they are the front. They appear to be the front runners. It's been, relatively known that they are the front runners. It's been reported that Deshaun Watson has waived his no trade clause only to the Dolphins, and so it feels like, this is meant to be. This is meant to go down at the trade deadline. And so, I mean, if you watch any type of sport, you follow any sporting league that has a trade deadline, NFL, definitely the NBA, MLB, all the big time name or the marquee name deals. That's kind of where they go down at the trade deadline. All the big deals, all the big name deals, trade deadline. That's what it's made for. You know what I'm saying? People making that last push to get the players that they want. And so in this particular case, I would not be surprised if Deshaun Watson is traded to Miami at the deadline. I'm pushing for the deadline uh, to be traded. Now, if for some reason the Dolphins change their mind or the Texans don't like the deal that the Dolphins brought, then it's going to be crazy. Then people are really going to be wondering like, okay, when is this dude getting traded, or what are the Texans really trying to do? And so the obvious answer would be, they have to do something, in the off season, get that done because they're not just gonna cut them and pay them all that money or whatever. So definitely, something has to be done in the off season. I feel so, but I'm not. I'm banking that it's not gonna wait to the off season. I'm going to say it should happen. Um, it should happen Tuesday at the trade deadline. they should really just pull the trigger on this and just get this over with. It's been drawn on long enough. So that's how I feel about the trade at this moment. Couple things for the Rams game. Uh, listen, man, the Rams are tough this year. Matthew Stafford, he's having a hell of a season. He's top five in quite a few quarterback passing categories. Touchdowns, yards, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? He's doing his thing. He's balling out. Um, the Cooper Cup, they're leading receiver in the league right now, catches and yards. He's going to give the secondary. He's going to give our Texans secondary trouble. Uh, so, a couple things. This is all I want to see from the Texans on Sunday. Um, I want to see what this new running back room looks like. What this new ground group looks like. So, Mark Ingram, he usually started the games, and then they put Philip Lindsay in here and there. Um, Burkhead, he come in, he catch something out the backfield, do a couple plays here and there as well. So I just want to see like what this new group is going to do without Mark Ingram. What is Scotty Phillips going to do? So that's the first thing I want to see happen with the Texans this weekend. Second thing, what does Davis Mills have left to show us before they put Tyrod Taylor back in that game? So I get it. Mills is a rookie, and he really got thrown. He really got thrown in there. But I mean, that's the nature of the game. You just never know when your number's going to get called, and you gotta, what I'm saying, gotta go perform. So I think he's handled it all right. He hasn't won a game, and he's really the offense has really just struggled behind him. But I'm just looking at it as a rookie uh as on a rookie's level. Like, he's done okay. He has a lot of work to do, but I think he had his bright moments here and there. He just needs to learn to put those moments together and learn how to actually win a football game. That's all that is. So um, I'm not. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to jinx him to not win this game, but I would definitely say this Sunday he has to come out there and show like what has he learned so far? I think this is going to be like his final exam for the year, or his midterm at least, because he'll probably pop back up at the end of the year, just to rest, just when a lot of the players are resting. So we'll see what happens. So yeah, all I want to see from the Texans this weekend is what this new running back group is going to look like, and what Davis Mills can help put together against this Rams team. Other than that, that's all I got for y'all this week. I'm Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. Holla black.